Hey guys, welcome back. So we're on episode 20 now, and I think I have some bad news for any fans of the show. But I think I'm gonna be I think this might be the very last episode of the fucking piece of shit sitting in my chair. Get out of here! And you're trying to steal my podcast? Not if I had anything to say about it. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is recording, isn't it? Oh, it is. Fuck. Happy Friday once again, everybody, and welcome back to episode 20 of the ForbiddenCast. Can you believe it's already been 20 episodes? Because I can't. I feel like I'm going to be amazed at every number that we reach of doing this podcast because I'm surprised that I'm dedicated enough to actually do this. But goodness me, episode 20. I have a few topics to actually talk about this week because some interesting things happened throughout this week. An announcement of something that I'm super excited for. Something really weird that happened. And then a cool new piece of gear that also arrived. I don't know if it was soon or if I even mentioned it on the last episode. Maybe. I don't remember. Probably not. I don't know. Anyways, everybody. Also, that as well. Hello to my 2 new subscribers. Thank you for your subscription to my channel. I don't know if you actually watch the podcast or not, or if you're just here for the guitar-related stuff. But I appreciate the support, and I look forward to making more content for you guys and everybody else who's watching. Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to my show. Yeah. Good. I just had a massive brain fart and totally forgot about everything I was saying. Excellent. No. First piece of news. What do I want to cover first? I really hope I didn't mention it. I'll start with the piece of gear. So, recently, Friedman is a guitar amplifier company. They make very nice high-end quality amplifiers, hand-built, I believe. And they just released a brand new amplifier. It is a solid-state amplifier. It's called the Mini BE, based off of their original BE amplifier. And it looks really cool. And it sounds, so far, what I've heard off of like people doing demos and whatnot on it, it sounds very, very good. I want to look it up. Friedman BE. Also, they have a BE overdrive pedal as well. Mini BE. Yeah, it is. It is a Mini BE. And because for anybody who has ever looked into Friedman amplifiers before, like I have, because you've heard them and see people playing them, and you're just like, oh, I wonder, they look cool. I wonder how much they cost. And then you look at any of their amplifiers, and they're almost $2,000 each. You're just like, ouchies, that hurts my wallet immediately. I don't even want to bother looking at anything else. No, this is a very affordable amplifier meant for the bedroom player. Because it's solid state, so therefore you shouldn't need to have to worry about actually having to have, because the thing with tube amplifier heads, for anyone who doesn't know, if you run the amplifier head without connecting a speaker to the amplifier head, you can really, really damage your amplifier in more ways than one. So it's a really big no-no. But with solid state heads, because of their different wiring and everything, and because they don't run off of the tube power. It's good. You don't need to have it, you know? Like, I think some amplifiers nowadays do have like a bypass switch to be able to run an amplifier. Like my PV 6505 mini head, there is a switch on it where you can switch it so that you can still use the output, the speaker output on the amplifier without having to run it to a cabinet, which is really, really nice. Now, not all amplifiers have that, especially the older ones. I mean, I feel like that's a fairly new invention. But no, this Mini BE head is very, very affordable. From what I've seen so far, the price on this little guy is, this is on Sweetwater. Now, I don't know how much it would be for me, but Sweetwater is a American site, which I feel like some of you listening might be in the United of States. Yeah, just in the States alone, it is $329.99. Now, for some people that might be still expensive, but to have a tiny miniature good sounding Friedman head and, you know, being able to use it more than just, you know, with a cab, you know, it's super friendly for like the desktop player type of style. I feel like that's who this amp was in mind for. Yeah, it's super, super cool. And I'd be very, very interested into checking that out because, I mean, for one, like I already mentioned, it's a Friedman head. On the back, you got an effects loop and you got two speaker outputs. And it looks adorable and it looks really, really cool. It's got a volume, it's got a bass, mid, treble, presence. It's got a three-way cut switch, a gain knob, and then a tight. I don't know if it's a three-way, but yeah. And then just an on and off and an output. It's pretty straightforward. It's not like there's no channels on it or anything like that. It's just like a straight up, just, you know, gainy amp. Yeah, it looks really cool, and I would be more than pleased to have one of these in my collection because, you know, any guitar player you may know knows that you can't have enough amplifiers or guitars or any piece of gear. I might be addicted though, so that might be also a issue of mine. I mean, so far also all the reviews have been nothing but 5 stars, so neat. Oh, what is this? The DSLR 1. Sorry, I just ended up shopping now, didn't I? Yes, I did. Anyways, that's not interesting for you to listen to. Me just looking at amp heads online. But yeah, no, cool. I'm really, really interested into looking for that. My parents just recently asked me what I wanted for my birthday. So, I mean, you know, even if it is a little bit out of the price range of what they're wanting to spend on me on my birthday, I can, you know, I'd be more than willing to put in the extra half or whatever amount in to get that. But at the same time as well, there's also, I'm lucky enough that my parents are generous enough to, you know, even still get me birthday presents despite me turning 22. Is that how old I'm going to be turning? I think so. If you want to find out my my age reveal, check out my podcast with my girlfriend. I think it's the Heart ForbiddenCast one, the Valentine's Day special. I think we talked about my age in that episode. I really can't remember. Probably. I would imagine so. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, no, I'm really glad that my parents still are kind enough to buy me a birthday present and don't just be like, fuck off, you know, like, I really appreciate that. But yeah, there's also, I've been really, really interested into getting a reverb pedal as well. I've been really wanting to get one of the JHS 3 Series reverb pedal as well, and that one is very affordable. It's, I think, at Long and McQuaid, it's $130 or something like that. You know, still, it's a reasonable price for a pedal, and plus, you know, JHS is more like a quote unquote more of a boutique kind of pedal company compared to, like, you know, MXR or Boss or whatever. So that's kind of neat. And plus, it's like, it's completely blank, so, you know, if I wanted to, like, it's just like the pedal is just white with like black text on it, you know. So it's like, if I really wanted to, I could, you know, basically strip all the paint off of it and then do something else with it. Actually, I kind of did have a plan in mind. I got some Decepticon stickers from a really old Transformers toy that I had from when I was a younger lad, and yeah, it would be kind of cool to get like a metallic, like a purple metallic, really like sparkly kind of spray paint, and then spray paint the outer casing of the pedal, and then, you know, change it to make it all like, you know, Decepticon-y kind of sort of thing, and then call it Reverbtron or something stupid, you know. Which I think is what Mr. Josh, I forget what his last name is, Mr. Josh JHS had in mind for that line of pedals. I would really be interested into checking out the other pedals as well, but because I'm, you know, in the market for a reverb pedal recently, I think that's the one that I would go with. There's also the Earthquaker Devices Astral Destiny, which would be really, really cool to check out as well. But yeah, that one there is also close to $300. I think it's like $240 or something, close to that. Something's close to that. But that pedal there is like, it's a weird pedal because it's a reverb pedal at heart, but then it also has like a pitch shifting chorus effect to it, which is really strange but really cool. And it, you know, you can get some really crazy spacey out of, like, just, I don't know, insane sounds you can get out of it, which would be really cool to get too. But again, you know, meh. But yeah, I got really sidetracked. I was talking about the Friedman, and I started talking about pedals. Yeah, neat. Anyways, that was the first piece of news. Second piece of news. What should I start with? I don't know. Cause the one is just weird. I might have ended on the like kind of more weirder, sadder kind of one. But second piece of news. Fans of Metalocalypse and Brennan Small as a whole, if you don't know this already, and if you're bummed out still since 2013 that Metalocalypse got canceled after the release of the Doomstar Requiem, rest assured that sometime in the near future, I don't know when, it hasn't been announced yet, but Metalocalypse is coming back with a full-length featured film. That's right, Metalocalypse is getting a full-on movie. Now, the Doomstar Requiem was the first taste at that, with, you know, like the whole thing being kind of like a musical, which is really, really cool and awesome because it's Brendan Small writing the music, and Brendan Small is a absolutely incredible songwriter. But yeah, now it's going to be a full-on, like, closing the chapter, closing the book, you know, end of the story movie. Basically, yeah, that got announced on Wednesday, technically. I'm recording this episode on Thursday, but I think that got announced on Wednesday. Yeah, yesterday for me, technically. So Wednesday. But yeah, holy shit. I am beyond excited for this film, because I love Metalocalypse and I love Brendan Small. well, because of Metalocalypse, I love Brendan Small. Still waiting on his new signature Epiphone. Still waiting on that, and you better believe there's going to be a video on that once that comes out. Well, I mean, I have one video idea in mind, and then there's definitely going to be like a gear demo review thing on it. But yeah, I have his Snow Falcon, and then if ever I get lucky enough to get his Thunder Horse, I absolutely will. And then if anybody has never seen the Thunder Horse before, it's a Gibson Explorer shaped guitar, but with a silver burst on it, and it looks beautiful. Much like the Snow Falcon, which, again, if you don't know what a Snow Falcon looks like, it's a completely white Flying V Gibson, a completely white Gibson looking, well, it's an Epiphone, but like a Gibson shaped Flying V with a silver burst on top of a white, and then all the electronics and everything is all white, but then only the bridge and tuners are like a silver chrome look to it, and even the fretboard is all white. The fretboard is made out of a plastic material called phenolic or something like that, and it's super bright and really cool sounding. And yeah, I absolutely love that guitar. It is one of my favorite guitars to play. Obviously because it's Brendan Small, and he inspires me a lot, if you haven't noticed. But yeah, so I'm just overjoyed with that news. And the show just got greenlit, so I mean, I have no expectation of seeing the film anytime soon, but like, I'm kind of being, wishful and crossing my fingers that hopefully by the end of this year, we are going to be able to see the Metalocalypse movie. And for anybody who does follow Brendan Small and his journeys along with his musical career and everything, after Metalocalypse got canceled, and then Brendan Small trying to do everything he can to bring the show back just to finish it off, and then, at least have the fans, be happy that, the show finally got an ending, because it kind of got cut abruptly, because at the end of the Doomstar Requiem, there was a lot of questions asked with like how the show was going to end and everything like that, because especially there's a specific moment like right after the credits that happen with one of the characters, like one of the main characters, something happens with him, and then it's just kind of like up in the air, and then the big long musical episode ends, and that's it, and then the show gets canceled, and you're just kind of like, what happens next, and there's so a lot of fans were upset and everything like that, but now that we're getting a movie, I am just overjoyed, and I'm sure a lot of other people are. I can't express that enough. I don't know if you can tell I'm excited about it, but I certainly am. But after all that happened, and once the show did finally get canceled, Brendan Small actually tried to revive the show, and he even started like this thing where like people can donate and money and everything like that to try to get the show back up. But basically the network, which is Cartoon Network, they're just like, nah, sorry, chum. So then, yeah, that just nothing happened. But then I don't know whether Brendan Small still had all the money or he somehow refunded everybody. I'm not entirely sure how that worked out. At least I think I'm not too sure. Or even if there was like a donation thing, or if it was just like a vote on like, oh, we should definitely bring Metalocalypse back, or whatever, what it was. I can't really remember. But regardless, Brendan Small just so like pumped up on how excited everybody was to want to bring the show back, and he just felt bad for letting his fans down, basically. Well, it wasn't really Brendan's fault. It was more the network's fault. And Brennan was just like, well, I have all these fans who are hungry for more of my content, and I would like to deliver to them, but I kind of got, screwed in this situation. And, it's screwing everybody over, including me specifically, because, I'm the one who has to answer everybody because I'm the face behind this show, because I'm the one who, does a lot of the work. He's the one who does the music. He does most of the characters' voices. He, is there for the storyboards and everything like that. So he's the creator, well, one of the creators of the show, and he plays a massive role in that show. But after all that, he was like, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll write a second Galacticon album, because unfortunately Adult Swim and Cartoon Network own the name to Death Clock, which is the fictional band's name in Metalocalypse. So Brendan Small can't use that name, but he can use the name Galacticon, which he already had like a thing going on for his first Galacticon album, which was like his solo album besides the Death Clock stuff. So what he did was he took he basically, if you look at the vinyl version, and I feel like I've already explained this on the ForbiddenCast before, but if you look at the vinyl version of Galacticon 2 compared to like the CD and then the first release of Galacticon 2 Become the Storm, the track listing is different. And Brendan Small did that on purpose. And then on top of that, none of the lyrics to the songs were released until almost a year later, I think. And the reason for that is because the vinyl version, this vinyl set, like the song list of the album was basically the finale. If you read the lyrics and you pay attention to the lyrics and you put everything together, that is basically the ending to the story of Metalocalypse. But if you listen to just how the album is originally without the whole vinyl situation and this different song list, that's like the whole Galacticon story or whatever. So it's basically two albums in one, which is fucking cool. Yeah. So and the thing is too, with this Metalocalypse movie that's going to be coming out in the hopefully near future, by the sounds of it, they are going to go the route of just basically finishing the story the way that Brendan Small had originally planned, with this Galacticon 2 different song list sort of thing, because inside of one of the songs, or a few of the songs even, they mentioned something called the Falcon Back or something like that. And then even in like the teaser, well, not really in a teaser, but like in the article talking about like how they're going to be bringing back Metalocalypse as a movie, they mentioned Falcon Back. So my speculations are that like they're going to try to stay true to form how they originally wanted to end the show, instead of just kind of like coming up with a whole new random ending that kind of, half-assed gets tied in with how the original story is. So like I feel like that's what's going to happen, which I'm super excited for. I don't really want to spoil anything. All I can say is that like it's not going to be a happy ending to the show. I feel like some people might be upset with it, but I'm not going to be too super upset with it, especially because Brendan Small has said in the past that like he already had the show finished. Like before the show got canceled, he already like he just wanted to do one last season and then just have it be finished. Not because he hated it or anything like that, but just because you don't want to drag things out too long, because the show is ramping up and ramping up and ramping up, and like any story should go, it ramps up to this huge thing, the big thing happens, and it's just a slow decline until it's like, okay, the big thing happened, and then everybody can breathe, and that's that, and let you kind of like wander off and enjoy go enjoy your own life and make you think about something for 5 seconds at least before you're brought back to reality and are completely miserable because you have to work every day of your life and walk your dog and do dishes and throw out the trash and responsibilities. Sorry, I didn't mean to get existential on you there, but but no, yeah. So I'm super excited about that, and any other fan of Metalocalypse and or just Brendan Small as a whole should be as well. I cannot wait, and I still cannot wait to get my flippin' Ghost Horse guitar. I'm still waiting on it. I can't wait to get it. Hopefully by the end of the month. I am praying to the almighty Jesus that it'll be here at the end of the month, at least, hopefully. Because I was told it should be here at the end of the month, at some point during this month, and it's not here yet, and I'm getting anxious. But we're already 26 minutes in, and I do have one more piece. Well, maybe should I? Because I still haven't done the whole song thing yet. The music recommendation, which was there anything new? I don't have my phone with me. I don't think there was anything new that was released. I know Gojira released a new album, but I've never really been huge into Gojira. Like whenever I hear their stuff, I was just like, okay, that's kind of cool, but I've never been like, I was just kind of like, yeah, it's heavy and complex and sounds brutal, and it gives me a headache after listening for it too long. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't checked it out yet. Maybe it's probably really cool, I imagine. But yeah, no, I don't think there was anything new that I listened to, anyways. There is new shit that I'm listening to constantly, but nothing like just released. Real quick, I guess, before I close it off with the weird kind of piece of news, which for anybody who follows any sort of like metal mainstream media, I feel like you might already know what I might talk about, maybe not, but no. Real quick, the music recommendation that I have for you guys today is a 1980s band, early 1980s band, jazz rock fusion band called Cassiope, spelled Cassiopea. Once again, that is Casio, like the keyboard Casio, and then P, like peas, like the food, the green little balls, but put together. Cassiope. They are a Japanese band, and they are incredible musicians. If you like Tupperware Remix Party, especially their like more recent stuff, you will absolutely love this band. I suggest listening to the entirety of their live album Mint Jams, because it is so cool. It is all instrumental, so yeah. But like even that, like even if you just want some like kind of cool, chill, just kind of relaxing music in the background while you're making supper, or if you have, I guess not right now during COVID-19, but hopefully at some point whenever you can start having guests over, if you want just some nice cool jams in the background, mint jams, I just got that. Nice cool jams, mint, because you get a cool sensation when you have mint. Anyways, yeah, you can just put on anything from Cassiope, because it's all very, very nice. But my song in specific, man, it's really hard to actually pick a song out of this. I think probably Take Me. Is it this one? I don't know Duffy, and I hope not. I hope you don't hear that, because then I don't want to get copyright striked again. But yeah, Take Me, I think is the very first song off of Mint Jams, and yeah, check that out. I recommend checking out all of the album, and if I can't say from experience, but I feel like, if you're a partaker of marijuana, I feel like it would be a really an interesting album to listen to while you're completely ripped out of your gosh darn mind, and you're just kind of out there thinking about the universe and coming up with new ways to make grilled cheese. I feel like this would be a cool album to listen to while doing that. But anyways, that's my music recommendation for this week, is Cassiope, Mint Jams, and specific song, Take Me. Anyways, for the weird news and kind of borderline sad news, I don't know really how to feel about it. David Ellefson, the longtime bass player for Megadeth, has got himself into a little bit of trouble not too long ago. I think it was either Monday morning or Sunday night. I'm not, well, I mean, it's probably been happening longer than that, but whenever it's finally been out into the world, which it should have probably never have been, but yeah, it was finally revealed to the world what's going on. So just for a bit of background, well, I guess no, I haven't even said what's going on. The reason why he got into some hot water is because a while back, let me give you the full story, at least from what I understood from taking bits and pieces out of everything. A while back, right as COVID started, a lot of musicians were giving online classes because they're just like, we don't have gigs or anything like that to do to, make money and whatnot. And, studio time isn't, as easy to get to right now. So what's the best way to do it? Online classes, Zoom classes, hang out with your favorite musicians online, and you get to learn cool bass parts and or guitar parts or whatever, what have you, hang out with a musician. Super cool. So that was all nice and everything. And then, nothing was really happening until some little bit of trouble came up. And what that trouble was is that David Ellefson had a student from, again, this is just from what I can grasp out of all of the nonsense. David Ellefson had a student, and she was a female. And if anybody knows David Ellefson, he is a straight man with a wife and 2 adult children at this point. Yeah, what happened, this girl was just like, I guess whenever David Ellefson started doing lessons with her, she had just turned 18, and obviously she had been a big fan of Megadeth for a while, so she was very, very, very happy to be able to actually do these lessons with David Ellefson and be able to learn from him and chat with him and whatnot. But as the lessons progressed, the lessons turned less into bass lessons and music lessons and more into a more just overly friendly conversations, and eventually that led into more romantic conversations, and then that led to David Ellefson making taffy with his meat stick. if you catch my drift. So yeah. Now because of this, and then what had happened from that point on is the girl in this situation, I don't know her name, and it's not really important to know her name because it's just whatever, she was 18. Well, she is 18, and but the thing is, the issue is because David Ellefson is I don't know how old exactly, but I know he's in his 50s and is more of his late 50s. So immediately right there, when you have a 50-year-old and a just newly 18-year-old, it just seems very, very odd, And the girl, I guess, had shown, because like the girl, whenever the the taffy making was happening with David Ellefson, she had taken videos of that, for safekeepings for later for herself. She had shown her friends or whatever, and she got grossed out, and her friends got grossed out or whatever, and then I guess her friends got a hold of those videos and then released them to the public to kind of make David Ellefson look like a complete piece of shit. Which, and again, the thing is here, which is the biggest thing, because really, I mean, like, if she's a consenting adult, it's technically, what the situation is technically fine, except, and here's the huge exception, it's the fact that David Ellefson is married and has been for a long time. So that there is the huge problem. It's not so much that he was, doing it with this girl, because a lot of people are trying to accuse him of grooming. And for anybody who doesn't know what that is, what grooming is basically when a much older man is interested into a much younger girl under the age of consent, but still continuously is talking and being around this younger person and waiting for them to eventually become the age of consent so that they can, do the nasty. And which isn't okay. I don't know if that's illegal. If it isn't, it absolutely fucking should be. But yeah, so that was thrown around a lot, but supposedly the girl in this situation came out with a statement saying like, I never was talking to David before I was 18 or whatever. So she and it's again too, it's the internet, so it's like it's impossible to know exactly what to believe. But overall, it seems like she came out saying like, no, he wasn't grooming me. Like I initiated all of this romantic stuff, and then it was on him to like actually kind of like go with it and whatnot. And then and it was completely my fault that the videos got leaked and everything like that. Yada yada yada. But overall, the situation is as bad. I don't think. I mean, it's really like more of a huge personal issue with David Ellefson, because like, he kind of totally cheated on his wife, which is a huge big no. But that's the thing too that I also thought of as well, because obviously not every relationship is like this, and I also don't agree with it, because I personally wouldn't be able to be okay with that myself. But I do know that some relationships are fine whenever it goes, if either both partners decide they want to go on a break and then they go do their own things, or if it's a situation where both partners are just kind of like, let's experiment and do weird shit. And yeah, and if David Ellison's wife in this situation was aware of this situation and she was just like, that's fine, but then I get to have my own thing, I don't think that's a very healthy relationship at all. But that's David Ellison's life and not mine, because I would not be able to do that situation. I don't feel like one should use that as a role model for being a proper situation. But if that's what the situation is and the wife in this situation is totally okay with it and was aware of it, then it's like Dave Ellefson is kind of like in kind of basically the clear. In a sense, it's still wrong in my opinion and feels weird about it. But that's the thing. Like, that's what the big picture of this is. Like, it feels weird that David Ellefson was in this situation at all, because I don't know, like David Ellefson was just such a huge, and still is a huge member of the music, like a metal music community. Like, I mean, he was one of, if not one of the greatest metal bass players, like at least in one of the top 10s or 15 or whatever. Like, like he played a huge part in it. Like, he's got so many memorable bass lines. Like, I can think of at least 5 right now. Like, I know he didn't write it, but Peace Sells, there's 5 Magics, the underneath bass line to My Last Words, like Poison Was the Cure. Even off of the last album, Dystopia, the Threat Is Real. No, not The Threat Is Real. Fatal Illusion. Like, so many amazing bass lines that he's played and everything and written and contributed to the band and everything like that. Like, the guy, I don't want to say invented the 5-string bass, but like helped Jackson develop the 5-string bass, one of the first 5-string electric basses, and then for it to really stick and then to keep going with it, which is beyond cool. Just because of one song, because he, like, in the studio, whenever they're recording Hangar 18, they had to drop tune the E string, the low E on the bass, to a D to be able to play the part correctly, to get the nice low notes while the guitars are doing like the higher like strumming chords. And then live, trying to reproduce that sound was just always annoying to have to always drop tune the bass every time, and plus, like, different environments and everything like that, like, just puts the bass out of tune so much. And then after that happened, David Ellefson's like, we got to find a solution for this. And then they're like, well, what if we made a 5-string bass instead? And then that happened, and then look how many bass players have 5 strings now, and how many bands have 7 strings, and then the bass player needs the 5 strings, to be able to do those low notes and whatnot. But yeah, it just feels really, really weird to see David Ellefson, out of all people, like, just be in this situation. But it is what it is, I guess. But I don't know. Yeah. You feel how you want to feel about it. I feel very weird and kind of neutral about it, because really it's just like, I feel like, by the end of June, unless something else happens and a new information gets leaked or whatever, like, I feel like this might honestly just blow over, and it just might be like a situation where it's just like, okay, well, David Ellefson and his wife talked it out, and they found a way to make it work, or okay, now they are totally done, they're gonna get divorced or whatever. And honestly, that's none of the public's business. That's between them. Like, but yeah. Anyways, everybody, I'm gonna leave you to think about that, think about everything else I said in this episode, and yeah, I hope you enjoy Take Me by Cassiope off of Mint Jams. And that's right, everybody. I will see you next time in episode 21 of the ForbiddenCast. See you later.